Let's get into this right now with the Saturday Herald Sun columnist and our colleague here at Sky News, Steve Price, the wonderful senator from Queensland, Matt Canavan, future senator if she'd like to be, Caroline Marcus, our senior reporter here at Sky News, and the rock star that is Jacinta Nampijinpa Price, the CLP senator in the Northern Territory. One and all, g'day. But to the rock star mum, let's start with you, because you're back and big-time reporting here about how Chinese propaganda is turning up in our schools. Before we play the clip, what the hell are we talking about?
Well, Paul, this is shocking. It should shock every Australian. We're talking constantly about the Confucius Institutes and universities, and that's where all the focus has been. Meanwhile, kids as young as 4 or 5 years old are attending community language classes that are hosted in public schools in New South Wales, but also all around the country, where they're being exposed, people have raised with me, critics, to CCP propaganda, Chinese Communist Party propaganda. Now, these are schools that are organised by independent organisations, community-run organisations, but we are subsidising them as taxpayers. They receive grants of up to tens of thousands of dollars a year to be able to run on government-owned property in public schools.
Well, here's part of what we're talking about here, and you can tell us about some of the other things you found in your reporting. Roll the tape. This is unbelievable. You only know about this because of this lady here. Have a look.
This poetry competition may look innocent, but critics say these Sydney students are, in fact, spouting Chinese propaganda.
They just teach the student to loyal to China, not loyal to Australia.
Dr. Lin Bin has been a principal in Chinese community language schools in Sydney for 15 years.
Some teachers, they still got the membership of CCP. So they will tell the children to loyal to the mother.
What other stuff do the kids do?
Well, so these poetry competitions, they're invited to take part in them. Worldwide poetry competitions, they're saying things like we're loyal to the motherland, we're loyal to our mother, China. They're also being invited to participate in camps that some are hosted in Australia, some are hosted in China, in the birthplace of Mao Zedong. Wow. They're going there where they're learning all about basically the foundations of the Communist Party, and those trips are subsidised by the Chinese government. And they're coming back and writing essays which are published on these language school websites saying Chairman Mao Zedong was a great man. He was a figure that is misunderstood and misrepresented by foreigners. And this all happens in our public schools, out of our school hours,
but on
weekends,
premises.
On premises, and we are funding it.
Nothing to see here, Matt. Nothing to see here whatsoever.
Well, this is deeply concerning. I greatly commend Caroline for this reporting. It's an expose that should shock all Australians. It just goes to show the lies we're told about my migration program too. I mean, I'm all for having a program that integrates new Australians. I'm a product of that. My grandparents came from Italy. But back then we used to assimilate, and my grandparents, my nonna and nonna, were happy to do that. They came to this country because they loved it and they learnt English and they learnt to be part of the community. And we need to re-establish those standards with migrants community, that if you're going to come here, you have to be part of the Australian community and share our values, Australian values, to be an Australian. This is dead set against that. And there needs to be a proper investigation about this. I mean, didn't I notice a few weeks ago, Paul, did you notice that when Four Corners did an expose of the Opus Dei schools, immediately Dom Perrottet and Anthony or Jason Clare, I think, were calling for reviews. Where's the review here of these schools and their applicability to our national curriculum? That should happen immediately. Great work, Caroline, and hopefully leads to some action.